This is the Sherlock Holmes 50p coin. All the novels and stories minted on the coin were written by British writer and physician Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. There he is. So let's start with which is probably the most famous Sherlock Holmes story, The Hound of the Baskervilles. The Hound of the Baskervilles is the third of the 4 crime novels by Arthur Conan Doyle featuring the detective Sherlock Holmes. Originally serialised in the Strand magazine from August 1901 to April 1902. The book was first published in March 1902.
What's that? The Hound! Come on, Watson, quick!
Let's have a look at another one. No particular order. Let's go down here. The Bruce Partington Plans. The Bruce Partington Plans is one of the 56 Sherlock Holmes short stories written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. The story features the second and final main appearance of Mycroft Holmes, that's Sherlock's brother. It was originally published in the Strand magazine in the United Kingdom and in Collier's in the United States in 1908. Sherlock describes Mycroft as having powers of observation and deduction superior to his own, but he's not energetic or ambitious. Clever, but lazy. Where shall we go now then? Let's go back to the other side of the coin. Up there, A Study in Scarlet. A Study in Scarlet from 1887 marks the first appearance of Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson, who would become the most famous detective duo in literature. A Study in Scarlet is one of only 4 full-length novels written by Doyle. It was first published in the 1887 edition of Beeton's Christmas Annual. Beeton's was published every year from 1860 to 1898.
A client, Watson. Well, the widow standing under the street lamp. A widow? Would you like to bet on that? Of course. I recognized her features. She's a Mrs. Murphy. Her husband was murdered 3 days ago. Come in.
Mrs. Murphy to see you, sir.
Mr. Holmes, I'm in such a mess. Such a mess. My husband up and died without leaving me as much as a threepenny bit.
Okay, the next one. Let's go up there. The Blue Carbuncle. The Blue Carbuncle, a short story by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the 7th story of 12 in the collection The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. It was first published in the Strand magazine in January 1892. The story tells of the theft of a near-priceless gemstone, the Blue Carbuncle. Where shall we go next? There we are, A Scandal in Bohemia. A Scandal in Bohemia is the first of 56 Holmes short stories written by Doyle, and the first of 38 Sherlock Holmes works illustrated by Sidney Paget. The Grand Duke of Kassel-Felstein and hereditary King of Bohemia seeks to regain an important photograph with the help of Sherlock. That's one of the short stories I haven't read, and it's the first one, so I think I need to read that. And the next one, The Adventure of the Empty House. This is another short story and is one of 13 stories in the book The Return of Sherlock Holmes. It was first published in Collier's in the USA in September 1903 and in the Strand magazine in the UK in October 1903. On the night of March the 30th, an apparently unsolvable locked room murder takes place in London. The killing of the Honourable Ronald Adair. Public pressure forced Conan Doyle to bring Sherlock back to life and explain his survival after his deadly struggle with Professor Moriarty in The Final Problem. The Empty House is the first Holmes story set after his supposed death at the Reichenbach Falls, as recounted in The Final Problem. So let's go there next. The Final Problem. The Final Problem was published in December 1893. It appears in book form as part of the collection Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes. The story, set in 1891, introduces the criminal mastermind Professor Moriarty. There he is, Professor James Moriarty. It was intended to be the final Holmes story, ending with the character's death, but Conan Doyle was later persuaded to revive Holmes for additional stories and novels, and that's one we just looked at, The Empty House. Okay, let's go over the other side. The Red-Headed League. The Red-Headed League was first published in the Strand magazine in August 1891. Jabez Wilson, a London pawnbroker, comes to consult Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson. While studying this prospective client, both Holmes and Watson notice his red hair. Intriguing. Right, where now? I know, The Dancing Men. The Adventure of the Dancing Men was first published in December 1903. The story begins when Hilton Cubitt of Ridlingthorpe Manor in Norfolk visits Sherlock Holmes and gives him a piece of paper with the following mysterious sequence of stick figures. What on earth can that mean? I'm sure Sherlock will work it out. Okay, let's go over here then. The Sign of the Four. This was published in 1890 and is the second full-length novel featuring Sherlock Holmes. In 1888, Dr. Watson remonstrates with Holmes about his cocaine usage. Holmes claims that his mind rebels at stagnation and that he needs a problem to solve in order to stimulate himself. Then Miss Mary Morstan arrives at 221B Baker Street to request help with the mystery of her missing father. Yep, full-length novel, that one. Okay, where can we go next? What about down here to Silver Blaze? The Adventure of Silver Blaze. This is the first short story in the book The Memoirs of Sherlock Holmes. It was first published in the Strand magazine in December 1892. Doyle considered Silver Blaze among his favourite Sherlock Holmes stories. Silver Blaze focuses on the disappearance of the eponymous racehorse, a famous winner owned by Colonel Ross, on the eve of an important race and on the apparent murder of its trainer.
So the real murderer, Colonel, is standing immediately behind you.
Who killed trainer John Straker? I wonder who it was. Okay, let's go up here. The Valley of Fear. The Valley of Fear is the fourth and final full-length novel written by Arthur Conan Doyle. The book was published in 1914. Sherlock Holmes receives a cipher message from Fred Porlock, a pseudonymous agent of Professor Moriarty. Holmes deciphers the message as a warning of a criminal plot against a Mr. Douglas, a country gentleman residing at Burlstone House. Moriarty strikes again. Right, next one. Let's go over here and look at The Six Napoleons. The Adventure of the Six Napoleons, first published in May 1904. Inspector Lestrade of Scotland Yard brings Holmes a mysterious problem about a man who shatters plaster busts of Napoleon. Bizarre. One was shattered in Morse Hudson's shop, and two others, sold by Hudson to a Dr. Barnicot, were smashed after the doctor's house and branch office had been burgled. Nothing else was taken. In the former case, the bust was taken outside before being broken. What on earth is going on there? Another one I'm going to have to read. Okay, let's go and have a look at The Speckled Band. The Adventure of the Speckled Band was originally published in Strand magazine in February 1892. The Speckled Band is a classic locked room mystery that deals with the themes of parental greed, inheritance and freedom. Tinged with gothic elements, it's considered by many to be one of Doyle's finest works, with the author himself calling it his best story. Very nice. Right, where shall we go next? Let's go up there to the Musgrave Ritual. The Adventure of the Musgrave Ritual was first published in the United Kingdom in May 1893. Unlike the majority of Holmes stories, the main narrator is not Dr. Watson, but Sherlock Holmes himself. With Watson providing an introduction, the story within a story is a classic example of a frame tale. It is one of the earliest recorded cases investigated by Holmes and establishes his problem-solving skills. Okay, just one more left, I think. The Man with the Twisted Lip. The Man with the Twisted Lip is the sixth of 12 stories in the book The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. The story begins when a friend of Dr. Watson's wife comes to Watson's house frantic because her husband, who is addicted to opium, has gone missing. Watson helps her pull him out of the opium den and sends him home. Watson is surprised to find that Sherlock Holmes is there too, in disguise, and trying to get information to solve a different case about a man who has disappeared. Watson stays to listen to Holmes tell the story of the case of Neville St. Clair. Well, there we are. That's all the Sherlock Holmes stories minted on the coin. Obviously, there are a lot more written by Arthur Conan Doyle. While we're in that area of the coin, let's have a look at the SR. Now, this is nothing to do with Sherlock Holmes. This is the designer's initials, SR Stephen Raw. And there he is. I've got a quote here from Stephen about the coin. He says, "In my design for the coin, I have listed the most popular of those adventures, but by necessity have kept the words very small. I hope it will encourage the inner detective in those who are intrigued by the coin. Naturally, the only way to solve the mystery of the text is by using that essential piece of equipment always carried by the intrepid sleuth, a magnifying glass. You shouldn't have too much trouble finding one of these in your change. 8.6 million were minted. It was made to commemorate 160 years since the birth of Arthur Conan Doyle. Because of its high mintage, it's only going to be worth face value 50 pence, but I think it's a very nice design. I don't usually like coins with too much writing on, but I think this one's an exception. Well, apart from the Charles Dickens £2 coin, I like that one as well. Well, there we are. Thanks for watching. Get your magnifying glass out. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Am I going to make any more videos? I think the answer's elementary.